Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. As you wrote down in your agenda, you'll notice that we're doing two things this week, and we're doing them all week. We are simplifying fractions, we are adding fractions. So we're going to start off with a short video about about simplifying fractions. We'll go through the procedures so that when you do the assignment, and you'll have an assignment every day on simplifying fractions and adding fractions. Because I'll cancel Christmas for everybody if you can't do it. So let's take the fraction 20 over 32. And I know it can be simplified because my numerator and denominator are even. So Jackson, what do you think?
I was just raising my hand to
Okay, you don't need it right now while I do the video. What do you think can go into both 20 and 32? Jackson will tell me. You got to believe in him. I mean, they're both even. So every even number is divisible by what, Jackson?
2.
2.
Yeah.
So I could divide both my numerator and denominator by 2, because that's like dividing by 1, because 2 over 2 equals 1. Another way I could do it also is I could list all my factors of 20 and 32. But since I know right away off the top of Jackson's head that these are both divisible by 2, I'm going to start with that. And then I'm going to ask Maddie D, what is 20 divided by 2? 10. And then I'm going to ask Joe Michael, what is 32 divided by 2? 16. Now, since I didn't find the greatest common factor, I'm going to have to recheck it and see if I can simplify it by anything else. So Zoe, looking at the fraction 10 sixteenths, can you think of anything that will go into both 10 and 16? 4 does not go into 10, but they're both even, so they both can be divided by 2. Thank you, Zoe. We divide both of these by 2. Zoe, what is 10 divided by 2? 5. Zoe, what is 16 divided by 2? 8. And I have 5/8. Yes, this took me 2 steps. I could have done all the factors of 20, 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5, 32, 1 and 32, 2 and 16, 3, 4 and 8. I could have listed that, and then I would have found out that 4 was the biggest and just divided by 4. But, I wanted to skip this part, and I knew I could eventually get down. Because if I wanted to do 10 and 16, if I got here and was confused, I could list the factors of 10 and 16. But if they're both even, I always start with just 2 and work my way down. I'm just saying. That is what I'm doing, is just saying. All right, so let's look at another one over here. Let's take... Oh, this is a good one. Here, this is a good one. 21 over 27. So we have the fraction 21 over 27. Closer to 0 or closer to 1, Liam? Closer to 0 or closer to 1? Why do you say closer to 1? It's more than a half, right? It's more than a half. Because 21 is more than half of 27. So since it's more than a half, it's got to be closer to 1 than to 0. All right, so now we can do one of two things. We can list all our factors of 21 and 27, and that would work. Or we can see if we can think of a number that divides evenly into both 21 and 27. What do you think, Emily Kate? You can think of any number that divides evenly into 21 and 27? 1. Okay, but we need bigger. If there is one other than 1, we need it. Is 2 going to divide into both of them? No, because they're not even numbers. They're not even numbers. AJ, can you think of any? 3 will divide into it. Because AJ knows his divisibility rules, he knows 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 is a multiple of 3. He knows 2 plus 7 is 9, and 9 is a multiple of 3. So that means we can divide it by 3 over 3. 3 over 3 equals 1. Dividing by 1 doesn't change the value. Let's see if we can call Anna. 21 divided by 3 is 7. And 27 divided by 3 is 9. Now these are smaller. And let me ask you this real quick, Eli K. What are the factors of 7? How do I get to 7? So I always start with 1 in itself. Anything else? That's it. Okay, once I know that, does 7 divide into 9? No. So I can take one of them and then just see if each one of the factors divides in there if I wanted to. All right, so 7/9 is our simplified. Remember, we can list the factors. We can use some common sense. And that'll help us do some simplification. If you're going to do it without listing the factors, though, you got to make sure after every time you simplify, you make sure you have done it all the way. Boom, chocolate, peace out, God bless, love you. Do some kind of save the bees, please. Love you, please subscribe.